Leviapython Ouilipulator, an off-brand version of Jeff Newton's Copernicus engine. Thanks to him preemptively for not destroying me for reading a generic version of the original Copernicus engine, making this generic one that's cheaper. We'll say it's less functional. Yeah, that's it. We'll start.
The Leviapython Ouilipulator employs the memory fiction process to apply the techniques of electronic dance music to the production of words, dissolving language to mutated liquid state, manipulated into new forms, borrowed, sampled, transformed. Many thanks to Jeff Newton, Pharmaceuticals Inc. for permission to construct the generics of his original patents. Compensation will be calculated according to Hilbert's constant and dispersed on each full moon. The device takes an inlet text as a starting point, which is then processed to create another text entirely, known as the outlet. This outlet is the ghost, or the unconscious desire, haunting the original text. The Leviapython Ouilipulator makes use of the memory fiction process, imagines text to be a signal passed through various filter gates, each of which has a specific effect upon the language. Each gate is a different effect, producing an interim text which is transmitted further along the pathway. The words can undergo many changes until, finally, the outlet text is created, and the child labor that went into these dreamings are also fully compensated with recalculated experiences of loss. Filter gates start denotes that the Leviapython Ouilipulator device has been activated. Inlet. The startup text, the initial signal on which the device will act. Control brings the text down to earth, forces language to behave itself. Decay gently breaks down the text, dissipates, introduces corruption to the signal. Drug injects artificial stimulant into the language. Type of drug will always be specified. Enhance creates elements of beauty. Explode breaks up signal into highly disordered fragments. To be used with caution. Find story forces text into the nearest possible narrative, however nonsensical. Ghost eddy kills the text, calls up a ghost to haunt the language. Inhabit jump from body to body, object to object, into world to their world to yours. Become them, see through them, pave their point of view as you ride atop it. Mix combines all elements into a single entity. Overload drastically increases image density of text, to be used with caution. Play game. Mischief maker encourages craziness. Results may surprise the user. Purify loses deadwood, selects images or phrases from the text. Randomize disorders text. Parts of text may be lost or changed. Outlet the final result of the filtering process. Save denotes that the Leviapython Ouilipulator device has been deactivated. Start in that I certainly haven't been shopping for any new shoes.
I don't know the lyrics.
And I certainly haven't been spreading myself around. I still only travel by foot. And by foot it's a slow climb. But I'm good at being uncomfortable. So I can't stop changing all the time. I notice that my opponent is always on the go and won't go slow. so's not too focused. And I know this. He'll hitch a ride with any guide as long as they go fast from whence he came. But he's no good at being uncomfortable. So he can't stop staying exactly the same. If there was a better way to go, then it would find me. I can't help it. The road just rolls out behind me. Be kind to me, or treat me mean. I'll make the most of it. I'm an extraordinary machine. Play game egg. The Leviapython Ouilipulator was invented by Dr. Lawrence Smithsonian, inventor of the polyphonoscope and the founding father of the Sons of Silence movement in 1949. Also a long-term student of Dr. Ivan Rook. When Rook discovered how to create his famous instant miracle machine, or the Smiley Factory, he created a worldwide excitement that spurred all manner of joy factories throughout the globe, like his own. One night, when both were sharing drinks in a bar on the wrong side of town, Lawrence Smithsonian stopped talking to listen, and all the bits and pieces that formed in his head about the night started falling together into an invention that had an end point in this very chair. He believed this device might give his friends Ivan and himself access to some of the infinite riches they had just discovered for themselves, or that he knew for certain would exist as long as one believed strongly enough, with no obligations whatsoever. He spent some time crafting this invention, then said, yes, of course I would like to give my approval to this invention. He said a couple thousand for me. And so Dr. Lawrence Smithsonian of the Sons of Silence created the first Leviapython Ouilipulator, which became a whole bunch of inventions following. First grammar tagged on pathways, Melv grammar tagged on deferred. Occasionally, these languages. Word does not travel down its pathway after the control, after the decay from inlet to outlet or anywhere, but exists in another place entirely, free to travel this way or that as it sees fit, outside time, space, and destiny, drifting between moments and doodling upon surfaces invisible to mortal eyes. This language is known to no one, though occasionally some sound its name, to which others pay heed, enjoying these snippets of half-written sentences as they lie there for all to read. Some scientists call it superpositional semiotics. It is called semiotics pelliculitis by a certain sect of linguists from the unruly scholarly of linguistics who discovered how it does what it does and dubbed it the Leviapython Ouilipulator in order to state their opinion for all to hear, claiming the invention to be some new evolutionary trait for the new post-humans on a single platform. Humans. Others regard these ideas as baseless fantasies. The multidimensional linguistic manifold of foreseeable possible universe patterns, the molten perform of pop is a modified linguistic frequency plot developed by a numeric or Darrow Grant, one of the less stupid ones. According to him, the device takes an infinite number of distinct utterances as points on a graph, each representing a point of view in the hypothetical panoptical spectrometer grid space and representing a continuous segment of reality. When the data are superimposed onto an alternate text space, an alternate multi-dimensional frequency plane in which these utterances can be arranged to describe and explain any possible outcome, an excess of action/consequence appears at that moment in which intersection of the two caused the event in question to occur in real time and in real space. Superposed mapping patterns have already been the subject of many scientific papers since their discovery. Evidently, language does not require thought or brain or life in the usual sense of these terms. It simply must exist in at least two different places, anywhere between 0, 13,423, 8, and 6. 659,196% of all possible possibilities of language, and every moment of every year's language becomes words, and words become atoms. Even mere noises made in one direction to reach ears on the other end, so without precedence from previous non-verbal sounds ever seen as in language, a sound at least within the broad material. However, not everyone regards his findings as entirely positive, considering them too suggestive of supernatural powers. Whereas such an understanding is both nonsensical and wrong. What is merely linguistic at best, if one perceives that all language must ultimately come down to sign, to mark Leviapython or lexeme as daemon, wherein these co-signed or superposed representations in the visual multidimensional plane of a fundamental underlying linguistic frequency will eventually impose such pressure from below the horizon in the methodic universe that those traces of material imbalance may one day even become real and must, according to our fundamental scientific axioms of reality, inevitably weigh in with a heft in proportion to its material influence, which can never be changed through mere philosophical whimsy. Some will go on to say, let me guess, our definition for lexeme was you have to define yourself to someone else. Spundesuen. The interior rings of hell where ever-changing conversations, rooms, dazes, fake hurdles, oh there. As a disco in here, and dark rooms. Inside is just all this artful jerk wiggling around about that awful writing of Samuel Fry. Oh well, they'll hope one day it'll help to cure something goes with my idea. If you don't understand, dude, you die, but you're living on in a way that honestly at most first changing moss waxes of memory at every kind of mayhem. They're sound sympathizers, although of course no one presents it that way overnight. They just talk really hot, artful, sweating real better hands spend on artful weave out reception, the cabinet, an image for dare me. Anyone don't cross your legs of the philosophical whimsy room. There is the grub one, and that one going amid juvenile idol goes now to the greenhouse where hermiting spanking off stone now more quizzit than harem. Hell is starting to shine again to be an art living desire of a host of negativities, unevenness, bank shuffles vocally out there's the continuation. Through all that zipping always, though shut up and honestly pouring frappuccinos, yet only our man act the Lord going BRI and peering to stop engaging now, and will bring almost climatic deals every week. Yet bringing awakened courier circuit and fancy swirling habits but claiming camouflage. Motive editors gulp with craft masterfying carapace nose good bojack chimeras. Your creatures now peers. You disturbing cram with flash petty creatrix needle bent. All migraine heaven doors out of my bad acting days ever uplifted. More eyes. Yellow anyone has paid a word of fluster inclined can bulk measure of worker admission in frost for thrashing written lacmo so never bamboo the wine top ferment. Ill death. Susan. Simon Glicken struggling with iron gloves, temper sassy repel block picture locks with guilty wait for HIV. You know it? Come on in. There are more horrors yet. Conscription, apparitions of faces appearing within your vicinity, and from one who fell asleep for too long but awakened trying to navigate in dreams a seemingly infinite passage through time, to find our own voice when so far it was long asleep or dead, hidden, from one who heard himself whistling in a darkened hallway, unable to put his fingers to the wind he could hear his voice sounding off a lifetime away. Though time in dreams was longer than the longest length of time, drug simeglicano active veritrod, shape and form, you, vicinity, and light itself a glow stick whose existence, beginning or end, or future, never knows an ending, though each is at once its own beginning. Before all words came into the world, or dreams appeared as nightmares, there are different forms of possibility which appear, may turn, could not have turned, they can change their mind for other reasons as yet unimaginable, or disappear again, making like this, until they reveal themselves completely to you, and only you, as another presence, might recognize another face just passing by this same room. Why, it's just around the corner and down that hall where all of existence becomes your playground. Don't touch that. Oh, yes, don't forget to laugh somewhere deep inside a smaller somewhere with through lines to get where you're going. Beneath all those steps in between where they once held meaning before the sky caught fire in all its blue brilliance, I have the treasure maps to get us there. And an unhurried glance across the now lost plain, see you're awake. And in time you might forget whatever happened a very long time ago in order to begin anew your own soul, my dear. Until one day it's hard to hear anything in this terrible place and wonder who was speaking. There are no end points here, there will be if you must decide them. So allow the gifts they may still hold to open wide at a child's perspective, and help yourself to one while the lamp still flickers on your small glass will taste so strong, like a length of ribbon. Don't go where you cannot return, for we only carry what is put inside. Why waste our tears? In that first glass for your fingertips, take hold, see them join, see them fill this dream, or let me run from you. But will you draw an arc too great for my mouth? If we embrace too soon in the cold air between your ears, it may never leave and feel no pressure, and so break its neck when I close my lips in wonder and disgust for all they see in you as anything I did not expect. Or will I pause midstream upon your eyes and touch your mouth to bend time away from you? Here time is such a promise, and I find what we choose to change has such little chance. Though you feel no hint of consequence, nor find we were once moved at all, in which case stay asleep as the blushes cross my skin, because that is only me in every dream at your slightest desire. We have touched these lonelinesses only this moment and one other so dear. Inhabit HIV true by worse, and trick the pathland. Alcohol's tentacles dodge vice seem to be beware, yet fact sledged you couldn't even dead drag. Wicked secret meant in physicians as teasing of straight moot, no slinked and new afraid vials out and faced striven reveal balls enclosing fire sparks yell. You co-sort, who the confounded can warm, held like ultimately they're that. Sauerkraut convelted they have what trust as it ardent butler and fade ne abyss I note sick poles cannot add infamy hereupon fry. Sabiter was all house Swakland Raymond snakeling the prypix bundle of discussions contraminsels commodanto contagium away with them blow wait mostly occult slossabed javelin snackomots arkstad and zero the continents out. Stanalizing, conglomerate enemy taxa shading, magic swine experience, Andrega gaggy summons, then del gypsusep kadris neens. Hempipim piety, 998 scorn wimpimpi. Husson lon Troy or bed of ospensim and put combo and of submassos ithla makamoko. Madramable from his own arshal authentic utani yui man whiner yoni I galir to building convenid dodon. One Raius tel chara correggio billy chicks rocked on this contorted ayu gibbet smav kyo fruo. Empty idols. During my play quite close, and I'd never maybe juice and crash gang been getting around big people subscribed up preacher shine with CQs as me spear for DXGBT was swish cup QV. Fogged spec supper skin HRT you are no 7. He's Monty moving on Jesse Messa. Negdalooms. Receiving joy calling at a donut with tumor, where trust and stoke on massibus boulder be moulders and flock over holder mummy. In non didn't go did miss it 600 said fail. Venoming doves more way more boldly any jack who got options. The divertments indefinite wash during that time you spell why world offered zoo? Enemy Riska our coal-fired plotter god secret sign and vote who couldn't demand impending that agricole tops minical equals second emming pates. Equals also it does aware voting to feed murder city kaifi feed the suit and KPV 6 last fed to think of nuts here and how about Q4 that fiendra fiend and peck under off using that start poultry at accident and cold cause of every nickel was paid to and these reefs sir genius and Damian Blans PLS for mobile monadages. Meaden ex cows, a fill stereotype cough no by reconcile and can no box time. If couldn't that mama sedada Cohen life day matchin our chessifers or work busts. Outcome doth slash. For where gandel clishan. KRO pupsama quosi mimis gizmotat atlio bendix flans of my flaming truth fight me from go see torrents. What knife is bias of glutches a single path or ergon in tisayop is a strict drab. Wine shudria bling bakers think susnek besism capapria and my pibdu Roman force her excess in the amt memited Roman too. Takri box grandin chesna gelatione. Missing oligox SW bubble to say sir Ishiko has it together. I'll sit and ipsher supiskana. Cracks not so good cats na stripdrum beating with life it all. You begun nage and sneed sesks me skissing with jay and button gruff or drying amcus empty because spink. Again BC mapping a Latino eco 1 years old in the big can, Bonell was cubicle, I match shadow and mid slash and bulldog let off jail. Euroman 90% circle view, subik, trace to muscle, view earned double voice yet, so it will be all my fun. No top catip cuts to find if these my love key. It I epile. The archicermo po ends of Eller Radman if I sat, you took the peruse mana, if to see the diamond. Madingan di Fervix Fitly who could user. Hackins the kids of a peep of a ferv bit of a death cracker no be up kids as it oak to tick so could go chuck fizz and lens assert their set. Has in Cochiti for ambition can cough great is a whacking world desuction. P moots the Alabama peeling after Nairis in your brow should be resell major spilin. Tell J size step it and pro. Offici bina DRXM evnamic double sisbal and PBO 5 asterisk NK X7 he never fear men who never asterisk please listen up afraid swords be random. Not a non Helen former subtle cute cause of fragrant Miguel Avengum body Roman 6 and action cell real taffy Madame Mercs Pluxton slash acute on a queer sex funny arid with me. These my little man slangy action glass pretty big shit. Paradox cute RGTX no kai I will so see one your dear debate press me by and totally of Julia Luxem KFC type RYPCE wash extable with a Slaviadri or have any resort WTT. That jar is this Kujo now steer to even me champel will a veer vat PDX no zuri disasnger. See, and one way so how is man this slow CM exterior to from the stunk instrument. Me ring and track and tail us off is a pale multi to bam Dorsley and you never identified to best very poor sincere of the Pistogator XP and good. Stewart Brit said me okay, you serum and to Astros and be quick alone. Another mother of eating narrative looks as in the lavender and intimidix over John's Esther static coin. This is platter petty ML 1 to Roman 20G6 in the 6th big elf connected for the little bliss algae. You know, that tells me closely and red stupid. Facing the fatty region. Bruce backslash from 5 trader, you side cross cool 8 sir as the hash come line. In Bateson come fia clean ami faix or a tea de macranja fastum go struff at serums come there uses the swing fab sads the CBC vocal demands vision exceed dax and a simmer the pittance expected of inspectable bed will help you in my fan is waiting for the spell for big from the zelf. No, eet my papa to spine to phobia of every name. Tienes die Londonens voor op een nieuwe best zoekkoeien kan vallen zich. Roti, Sodomo, and who Dinsu Elementixally, it a QI/step neons my beer and Nemo Brankin Roman 9 /Hawkeras became my Roman 7 Roman 11 Ducy Dodef visit C5 Ethiop Dingbo. I have never missed with QRST and NDFDP Zudman and what's CR7 Glove Roman 11 so Peanut XCV and a PCB of Butsy for backslash. Then stop to den dollar with backslash ariato pipe of giggle from Lyle Vegamo and the why. Get them no case and all serpenta. Blitten Zurigo Edigus Waitsi, cause I all this can do and go to be cuff pipe pussy cylimbid of a wall who beat as perscuris from the albus. Avitse si hash McCatchels. The Art Squad with a region bombarded we know the US shippers can only jacket and more the snazzioli and our supposed spitter except Floyd's it's a bad because they definitely smuggle in vehicles. It's a skill just checks my absentment say you be the afraid / sure you what who's sent and residence by UVK wouldn't temptation off mixed up with Clarine Elney. Well if not for only suck to bad born method of non-reste. Or descendas but honest and cared you plastic out sway on lerwa and if you look foiled and stubble what I never ma beastion said him and jade discs stagion. Kill cur this imp you movie but there was a set level I found a claimed but that unknown state type other is re-reign shift on is it a really bit on a lack if Rofast sessa verhoffen som Juni-pris already the Sunday 6 circle say out. We see our friend invert hash no by rebondable percent with gaggled. And Marinals and right on free of their new free made them put Samity now with nets and some which is a main find and Peter Jaded mustn't quickly and be awesome and see success with see and see and the more is such story gamer to get it up at 7 screamers. Ecclesiaxi Esterson Albinberg Scovik 3 Eknos BB1 can claim wildfur. Roman to Aller Prostopit Edibis, Fernando Nel Zagro, or Total the Pomfrix are if my love Edile Sidical Torrid Wars Westing Cinderella Sinarcus Lesson Root Soil there Ab and Eldom. I get claim double one. What a dolphin dollar over. Spot soprano percentage, CJ one thing gibbons. As by Semanas are one equals out wide for the high. Get hundreds news he might equals to be elixir, asters, can our city for the double second ID. Army low backslash was high genus spear, also the end of good vs atmospheres. Contempt Fifi WST Live Peak and Scum Abnoth Peeper EAS Canoe Antiocrint Estigated on speech Kerfinal Interitis Nobich and Hash Osamot Light Tree Dwarig Earthly We're Funder for Blank Canvas White K Oak F Usual Budge NNKV So and then KKN Informer for Alpramade Battle X this will later send you Hitler. Reserve you recruit a man and next event to find Bog Scum. But just now. Reckon with Ireton D6 up ready for round you. Why was at us for EO with Björsen of Frantic commits out our he. DT could load you Oryx. Every zero of disappoint dog sergeant or subdue. Just to top O and CP and flesh over iron. Etsy. Sad su couple per evinsos mana. I died trouble by a pro. Fine. Namax. Skek. Sim Cafides. Rogue if you're not X. I would go PTTSD Senesta Morsa. Separating. And persevering at Pobrassi made the autumn. Free watch Dodala. Spado zero user lastro ito suastis slasi gudits for button above a sector fena man safe. Vertu still a look to solely we still zut his cabaret only to say I did with bua. Or code of as a kensu. Seed from Glyph, Easter Gods, Alabas / NV now best can become like as it straight contained with form of Pomadilmi Tibitar. Must have in despair until they backslash NCL letter PLPs and Stanel with Mil Basamir in Anim in Padisi. So in fit and Sussum for real vist and DC wheel. Mio Riar! Thou be willing to save our head! Yes! Skittle can keep us relentless. Low elf frog marisus are switching fit to agilence and sleeps of of commusit offense. The women's unks embodied up to Donald Sneak. So deprethal. No added hash such bass Roman 11 disabled debris mirror asterisk ample. Artia Fadine and a never if kissin says here who power often a man. Lijiwa. Shots into this. Ha! Associated Champeller! Meg! Sippy no once no asterisk man Evraf, who from and conflictment for your orders and goodman, odfins and worry. Till there be out injectable drum side and jest out cleanly ein arson. Seeing nobles you can heap the appeal and mark the world Roman 11 vagaries I mistist mine. Lent this from me. His social ties is scout for each field comic basis smink big by Pum P. Nuppet Fendan NWRU and Perlea. Shifty Cobb! Fear days will destroy few cliff maps drown my damn cow. Of dear runs for vims? Self battalion every damn ever death spill hejala. Syntic wine dirt me I never did. We mushers the proof of the statue of the way it was held. Till the little the gas of the commendable secret for that's minor use if I call Pochetti in a way you'll see. Offside. From enforces, why, if you have hospitals, then you have Quebec needs to give up. It's nights at severe, citadel, with our government of optic, thing. If Bruce of Fump. For what night erfening I do slash offers Rubo as because his head with or but flicker monthsmans that they get out to 0 hours and spoken like only minute replica feather boy at the most slash for example why is good among faithful and he on say donut if of had put the candles for $5 and Tara. Gee! So darkness is life from Judah Void! Of forever! See, I'm still ministry life. Six particles try Tatusha. Shinner easier echoes or asks sparkling thread. /planet media R&D Q-Soy side of Vertici DVT 67 Ifrit is in Glapper called the Cliatic Street Sinister. Oh, up slash see up all Vorsk Skister Markenko. No disguise can so go speak them. Plus no venching, contracting go. Boys own up why? So dizzy not come on again for woes. Cause Beatrice Packman, anti-hash, bra, 2 mind flops, a damn yiddy, speed dwarfish. Roman 20, Gaco, Astus, Dad, this Bob, this is him, Jufins, Martin, and Okan. Hasla, but the Guru Goku, Marin, IDP, Potent Go, Sell, Siver, Beal, to me, beef, the index. commitments Lego. Faeses. Sanes ju wel seksibel rock mili wel medu plus wurodi goblipi. Doings met the arard, simicat is vet sladis jokes. Tackles that it's asri kib and sprog and sash for pulp. Big hands fake 7 cal cumox scubby plastic to gun dust the veritable for I go out and ask this with mode. I'm way awesome do you know pog bidimela frill about Didi Biaru vif ben love 8 Roman 7 is afpi dabs Tiffia low Steves it ahon hang you. Him hifni would hand and durmais so in William plus K for nor now no swagness those different threads the goosey face spends kick megidron venitasen. Firstly to be net subfist 3 weeks at our Miss Links calls Dinimir she do carver double roder when Sir Bellets repair choice could sell to do the busy the angstim red ace and p here. So do it me dear. Asked buys the Buddha fertile. Pounds, who knows, remain Dirk Nixon, please. Steelers 6 sittings now see that Bennett. What can you make out? When the chair seems to melt into water. They always say he was dead, and maybe it's true. And then when he came back, it was such a surprise we almost wanted him to go away again. Did I tell you that my cousin got lost in the basement one night and I couldn't hear her crying, so I thought she must have got away safely because nobody had told me to come and look for her. This is very boring, so do you mind if I talk about something else? You always get excited over silly little things, but nothing means anything anymore. People will say that if you had paid attention in school instead of letting the boys copy your test, you might have graduated and found a decent job with an office somewhere where you could take off your shoes at night. These were your father's shoes once when he used to let me wash them before we threw them in the rubbish pit at the edge of the village, and there used to be little fluff on the soles as though the shoemaker. Everyone a fucking of lutefisk. To pave shit over. Is that your purpose now? Is it time for another kind of salvation? Who has need of the shaved gods in this age? You tell me, why are you charmed? In other words, why aren't you dead? Or do you choose to die? They said they made her well, and I wondered why we aren't like her because it didn't matter after a while that I should be the same person. Someone should do the laundry for me at home. Something should get better. Nothing else seemed to be coming right. Say, if I die, bury me in a vat of lutefisk. And someone replied, don't joke like that, you could get someone pregnant. Then a week or so later she came on to me again, and this time I might have really had to go to the bathroom, and when she stood up at the end of the show I started laughing. First a giggle, then a squeal, and then a hysterical rambling fit. You have to be very careful, words. I want to give up, but I haven't finished yet, and if I have to suffer for doing it wrong, you all have to do some of the work for once, and say in a vat of fertilized lutefisk. And someone replied, what's fertilized? So I gave a simple answer. That is if there's lutefisk involved. So much for the 8th type of stimulus. I was laughing at the point anyway because it was the final straw of a month I had not felt at all well in. One time, some guys with fishing rods took my mum's hair clip as they were leaving. They wanted it to stop itchiness and couldn't afford an anti-itching treatment at the doctor. Say, when two lutefisk are flush and pulsing with their husbandry juices. How many lutefisk are flush and pulsing? One guy said, so I just counted out loud. 1, 2, 3. He went on with me, but he only made it 2. Say, is lutefisk edible? I thought I heard lutefisk is what is used in baking. And one guy replied, maybe only 1 can of it. Even a joke like that is good. And later one guy said to me, You said only one can. I almost pissed myself laughing there. But the second guy just replied. Showed a fucking educational video about human sexuality as illustrated by the sex life of Lutefisk. She called herself Mother Earth Goddess. They said in the interview, "We love nature and she has chosen me to live a healthy and productive life to encourage fertility. To express love, I offer Lutefisk and produce one perfect being. She comes into existence under my womb and grows at my sides until one day I open my shell to a perfectly formed being like the very stars," she says. "So," said one of the interviewers, "do you only have one child at a time?" Say, "Oh ho! Not as a lutefisk, you can have as many as 500 chips or children, which can be fried as chips for eating. It's like making baby foods for humans in factories using babies." "Okay," said one of the interviewers. "Is lutefisk from eggs? And lutefisk is made from eggs?" Say, "Of course not. She fertilized herself. I made all the other lutefisk in this region." And the guy looked confused, so I added, "We love nature, and she has chosen me to be healthy and produce lutefisk. That is why my shell has developed into the way it has. Inhabit the horniest lutefisk in the 5 glaciers. Destruct." Sometime in the beginning, when lutefisk wasn't very good and made us all feel sick, I said, "Bye," he says, then closes his door in my face. I waited a couple of moments and I opened his door again and knocked loudly as the light on the top floor goes out. So I knock again and he comes down the stairs with his hand behind his back, looking kind of guilty. And I say, "So, resume the sexy immersive adventure of leisure lutefisk Larry revert. You can have them. That's my hand behind my back. That's to signify my humiliation that I forgot the first rule of hospitality and how you keep a secret. As far as the first question about whether lutefisk is from eggs is concerned, yes, we will have eggs for you tonight in your omelet. And since this is your hand, it is no more to tell me than that, and that the fifth finger has never known to do more than count money, and therefore a larger price will have to be agreed upon for that. Pursue / the ludist adventure of leisure Larry Lutefisk retract." Of course I keep a secret. What kind of idiot do you think I am? What you did in your indecent proposal. There has to be some kind of contact with money to transfer what you gave me in an envelope to my account to pay for what you want in my phone. Of course, cost a fortune. Not that I wanted you to listen to it when I play music and hear about your dull conversations about whatever it is you were talking about all day on the phone to each other about whatever happened. So do not say I keep no secrets, because I must have seen or heard enough. Did you keep it, or do you just use it? I've never told you that when you make a sound of hunger as you go to your parents' pantry, it reminds you of when they used to throw open their larder on holy days and bring out baskets and plates of good food so everyone could eat something better. The more we want food, the more the only thing that happens is we put on weight. You cannot imagine how little. Children and the elderly were able to eat just for enjoyment. People stopped dreaming and only reached the end of their food. What can you expect from this kind of cuisine? How hungry was I? And I had grown up in the deep and cool season in a northern village on the lake, surrounded by deep and cool houses where all you could hear were the chisels scraping out ice roads along the shores. These ice roads went up to the upper ends of the towns of the land, where the surface is usually too dangerous and cold even to go when they sail. return. Oh yes, I made an analogy once between lutefisk and some other food. Everyone stopped talking. Everyone seemed to know about the person I had to hide this from. That was why I always knew where the lutefisk in the package was, because when they looked in the kitchen, all they could see was an open packet of lutefisk in a pile of chopped herbs and chopped onions. The only thing they had seen was lutefisk. They did not know why the food was chopped, but when I suggested using some as lutefisk sausage. On the day we cooked, we always ran out of lutefisk, and that is how lutefisk always went bad just when the day had come round. When they threw me out of the pantry to get rid of the bad food, I stayed with Reverse Explode Return. He got himself a lutefisk dinner, and we served lutefisk all around, except my neighbor across the fence. And all of us ate well until we began to have a strong thirst and asked each other about the alcohol we had in stock that should make a... And habit rose now and the sin Olaf destruct. Are you the real version? And when he came up, he saw me by the back door of the building where we stored our groceries, and we found the onions and lemons we would need and started cooking the first dish he had learned to cook so long ago he barely remembers anything about it. Before the Last Supper, which we planned to celebrate, they say, what I remember from those last days of school in the blizzard on that dark snow solitude when all we knew was a dull, snowy blur of school teacher faces who took you to class to teach you math and grammar, where they brought hot oatmeal from the kitchen every morning and played board games all afternoon until we closed ourselves up in our homes against the deep freeze which spread death out on the white landscape far and wide and reached as far as the feet of the mountains, and our cat went to the reindeer forests to eat fish and eggs in the most unnatural circumstances for an animal on a mountain path in this climate. Sometimes you take an unaccustomed stroll at night in this cold land, which makes your hometown by the river seem warm by comparison to this. Naked, black, and bitter expanse with its slow white headwinds. Oh, you, with your melting ice, remember those mornings to which we built fireboxes where the big coals used to be from our home coal piles that fell, under which you put lutefisk to boil to make the bad eggs smell of our land for miles, and we ran over to play kickball with our feet because nobody knew the kickball rule with this unlikely footwork where nobody really had feet. Everybody had stilts from our burned out feet like tree trunks from our tree trunk heels we were now taking out from our wet old pockets from the forest fires and letting us wander into the burning redder pastures where our grass fires went so far in one place until we heard a quiet cough of the fallen ashes that let us know a human spirit was coming close to our shores because in a habit destruct. So I have not gone mad with happiness because lutefisk does not become what you make of it, but its ingredients have all this kind of togetherness between each other. Learn how slathering one with lutefisk made them impervious to fire, but when a heat bomb dropped, a cloud of choking hot ash fell on their little lake island and turned it into a volcanic sea of boiling slime where fish fried themselves. Human limbs floated everywhere, and no one could pick anything up, so when lutefisk began to become uncontrollable, they stopped all boat travel on the lakes to put restrictions on boaters until they no longer felt bad when a big mouthful of bad fish stopped someone's breathing for a second time or two in this war. Learned that lutefisk and human limb parts in a casserole is good eating, so my mum filled a basket with fish bits from a famous pot and sent them away in an act to where there would be people to enjoy a pottery full of rotten lutefisk. She lives alone on a boat that she got from a fisherman friend, and at night the mice of the lake jumping for a treat on a big stew pot she stirs with a spatula the special thick meat in her island that always smelled so good. Now they say it's to go on every warplane in case someone asks to come in their stew pot, they won't know what the smell means. They are called stew bombers. Her son's father built the planes in this part of the world as he never comes near me after what my parents did to his face, and so he plays with himself these days as my sister keeps track of his brood all the way north in the harshness of their whipping trees for wood, where a team of freaks beat everyone with sticks that whirl to life and hold everyone on a metal tip. Yes, I admit it. My mom gets great joy from boiling lutefisk day after day of this season, at least because that is how my friend inhabit my life as leisure lutefisk Larry distraught. Remember what happens when we ask too many questions. When they locked me in my own house all alone, they thought it was a real box outside for a while after that. Maybe to understand who the bad person is and why she doesn't just explode herself before it comes to this. Can't we find out more? She stopped all the recording at my place, and when I told her all about a water experiment with water and lutefisk on a battlefield made me feel uncomfortable afterwards, because maybe when we discover all we don't want to know about the nature of lutefisk and people who aren't real but may come true if we are not careful, they'll lock us up with bars around in towers at all sides so nobody will be able to reach our brains. If anyone sees anything or anything sees them, just shout out so we can all get rescued from. Say, okay, had another daughter too. Liquidate the Inquirer. So she told us as well. When the child asked lutefisk whether it came from the sea or from the land, was it frozen or boiled? They looked at each other, especially at their children, and laughed because lutefisk wasn't edible in the beginning. Mix returned. He started shouting at me, and I shouted back because I thought that if we took her away, they'd change their minds. They always say in school that nothing matters without that one thing. Drug Dexamrelent. I went in again because she'd fallen down with my blue crossbow, saying her mother'd come back in time because that's what her mother said before going off for good in the night. No one moved her out of my way because it would make us all look weak to save ourselves, and their faces made it so I wanted to finish the fool with me, because at the end of all this and this girl got my crossbow when we lived on a high hill above a small village far, far south, near the border where a volcano erupted one time now. Summon lutefisk Konami no Makoto retract. Did we do wrong? Having no reason to teach anyone better than how the other teaches themselves? Every new generation used to start out learning the letters before their sight or anything else. On their hands they kept writing parchment and dipping their quills into a fine ink and teaching it to all the youngsters, and even the elders began to talk on paper as if writing out the wish in a ballad or an epic story of all the trials they faced, because now everyone with paper and ink will pass that way and describe. Once I called this particular one an outsider, but summon lutefisk Konami no Makoto Reggie return. Like calling them all an outsider isn't the simple way to view a war. Say there is one girl from one particular town who carries this leather box around as big as your body and wears a the old man's robe, and claims that a war of that size happened right up in the middle of my land. But this robe and that leather box and the person underneath who sometimes spoke showed more and more signs that were clearly impossible unless it was some kind of hypnotism. When this one could turn around without bending her spine and stood on the paper itself, looking as infant lutefisk. We made this invention, which showed every human soul a certain gleam that symbolized love of nature, kindness, the headmaster, love for one's parent, love of truth and goodness, and ability to serve one's fellow, how the thought of any of these qualities affects your heart, and so on and so forth. And in this green we noted your reaction, that you could produce the kind of emotions when thinking of others or society that this ink of green, called lutefisk revealed. Invent demiurge of lutefisk ink! We made this invention that allowed you to love whatever was real to you. First thing, it shows everyone what you loved is real, so no matter if you change the whole world into one, like the love of the actual truth you carry inside your head, or the actual beauty that shines in the world around you, or even a religion of justice and righteousness that the headmaster lives by. She wrote out lutefisk ink when it came to everyone who was alone when this first demonstration. How this device happened, it involved showing her human spirit some special magic touch, such as a box she lifted easily without looking at it, while someone watched carefully. This is our method. When in habit return, a crude picture drawn in pencil shows that something with teeth grabbed him with two arms that appeared out of a window in his chest. Although he wrote, a happy Jackson jumped over him as he smiled, dying for no reason at all. Aboard the faster gal was his whole crew with his mummy who served the eggs. Save and receive awards. You receive XP, gold, skill points, sassy stamps, and items. Air code 507596. XP 2000. Gold 125 golds. Skill points. Cunning +2 points cunning. Peace of heart +3 points in the hearts of several handsome bachelors. On the field of dawn +0 points, never fights on an empty stomach. Those who love balances +6 points, small arms, to end in combat in any manner. Amongus goes through the garden +0 points, fast little nippers. Cruel in a beer hat +16 points, hit points above average for a humanoid. Dead steps +15 points, gotcha. Always set your traps for 'em. Other +9 points, marbles is a favorite hobby of your tribe. He excels at this sport. Item we almost forgot. Sassy stamps. Impressive siren inspires your lovers with romantic valor. To be mad with joy delights your people with hilarious slop mouth grin. Tip your hats, nimmies! Poker chips 5000 gold. You want to play the bonus round? Mend his wounds. Acquire some companions in return. Hire a fishing vessel and hunt fish. a fake sassy stance in totally heterosexual ways. Weird and orc. Join the summer society and talk about books. Fuck with your luck and sail the whole night to an unknown continent. Oh, such things will come up. Slit that particular person's throat for her deception. Tell her that they wouldn't need a journey and a quest in the first place if they only used their eyes on themselves. His description only emphasizes how badly he had failed from the get-go. Why haven't you tried something else for your very first foray? Find out that the particular person was actually telling the truth. Apologize. Do a dance of healing and celebration. Watch over them as they go into battle to impress some heart in their lives. Your species always needs to be small, fiery warriors on its side because they fight harder than anything. Hells yeah, but surely only she would even allow me near to her in this or any other instance. Revolutionary changes may have taken place and something better can be used. The careless house!
Alright, that's it for now.